Over the course of the past year, I got swept up in becoming a Swiftie. Within a week of her launching the Eras tour, my entire TikTok feed was filled with videos from the concerts, to the point that I felt like I knew the choreography myself. That being said, she was my Spotify top artist this year, and I am so excited for Reputation Taylor's version to come out. A lot of people noticed that the music video for Look What You Made Me Do had a recent change that the subtitles are only available in Japanese. Most people think it's because the next leg of her Eras tour is in Tokyo, and that she's going to be dropping the announcement about Reputation Taylor's version at one of those performances. Now, a couple years back on BookTube, there was a Taylor Swift book tag, which I thought was super fun, so I wanted to do something similar, but Reputation version, by recreating the track list using books that I think fits each song in the Reputation album. There will be light spoilers, but I will tell you the book first, just in case you need to mute. There will not be any Taylor Swift music. I'm gonna try some fun remixes to throw in here, but we all know how Taylor Swift feels about copyright infringement. I'm not going to be dealing with that. Track 1 is Ready For It, which I think fits Lightlark very well, particularly one of the love interests, Grimm. In Ready For It, the guy is referred to as a killer, a ghost, a robber. I feel like Grimm fits those descriptions. He's always in the shadows, he can go invisible, all of that stuff. Also, our main character, Isla, for In the Middle of the Night in My Dreams line. Also in the main chorus, there's Let the Games Begin, which is very Lightlark vibes because there is a sort of Hunger Games-ish element in it. For Endgame, we have A Court of Mist and Fury, because who has a bigger reputation than Rhysand? I feel like Reputation Precedes Me, They Told You I'm Crazy is just spot on, because Feyre obviously doesn't have the best view of Rhysand in the first book, and I feel like it could come straight from Rhysand's mouth to say, I swear I don't love the drama. It loves me. And obviously the line about the handprints on my soul, that would work so well for the way that the mates system works in Sarah J. Maas's novels. I Did Something Bad belongs to Assistant to the Villain. Obviously, in this book, we have sort of a Grumpy Sunshine character situation where obviously the villain is the grumpy one and his assistant is the Sunshine character. But the funny thing about Evie Sage is that she doesn't get freaked out by stuff that the villain does, and by the end of the book, she's doing her own bad deeds, which I feel like lines up really well with, they say I did something bad, so why does it feel so good? Most fun I ever had. I just feel like it's so Evie, and I feel like Evie would also be a Taylor Swift fan. Don't blame me. Love Made Me Crazy is literally Coriolanus Snow. I feel like throughout the course of the book, we see future President Snow slowly going insane and doing a lot of things that he maybe wouldn't have done if it weren't for Lucy Gray. We even see him hallucinating her at some points, and if you know how this book ends, I feel like Don't Blame Me, Love Made Me Crazy is just the spot on sentiment for Coriolanus Snow. Even though he does what he does, because he does have that spark of evil in him, I really do think that he would blame what he's done on Lucy Gray entirely. Delicate belongs to the bride test. This is the sweetest relationship between a woman who's trying to make a better life for herself and her daughter, while she's falling really hard for a man named Kai, who has believed the lie for so long that he can't love someone, that their relationship ends up just with all this back and forth, and they're constantly scared to say too much or say not enough, and they tend to misunderstand each other a lot, and I feel like that really fits the lyrics for Delicate. Look What You Made Me Do could belong to no one else except for Aelin. Particularly in Queen of Shadows. And we do get look what you made me do moments from a lot of our other characters as well in this book. This is gonna have some minor spoilers, so if you have not read this book in particular, like pause for a sec until I take the book down. But in Queen of Shadows, we have Aelin breaking Aedion out of the glass castle, which is one of my favorite scenes in literature ever. It's so much of like a heist, but Aelin has to use her acting skills and pretends to be one of the dancers, so it's not like a boring battle scene. This is also when Aelin has to blast her powers at Dorian, who at the time is under the influence of the Valg. Dorian also ends up bringing down the glass castle in this book. Lysandra finally takes on her snow leopard form for the first time, and Kaltain takes herself out, destroying the Yellowlegs prison that Duke Parrington had made to join the bloodlines of the Yellowlegs witches and the Valg, which was obviously not going to turn out very well. So It Goes was the one I struggled with the most. I feel like any book with a romance could really fit this, so I just sort of chose one. I picked the Selection series because just the vibe of the song fit, and it's been a really long time since I've talked about these, and I know that the Selection series gets a lot of hate, but I truly love it. For Gorgeous, I chose Cress. This is from the Lunar Chronicles series. I believe this is the third book. Cress is in love with a character named Carswell Thorne, and it's just such an immediate crush, and it's hilarious. Like, I think Cress is so funny, and I feel like you're so gorgeous, I can't say anything to your face because look at your face, it's just pure Cress. For Getaway Car, I picked Catwoman Soulstealer by Sarah J. Maas. Getaway Car sort of tells a story of this man and woman who pair up, and they're sort of criminals, but the woman ends up backstabbing him, takes the money, and runs. In Catwoman Soulstealer, Catwoman and Batwing are, romantic interests. Their story doesn't necessarily follow the exact plot line of Getaway Car, but I think Selena really kind of encompasses the vibes, especially because she is a criminal and she is sort of on the run. King of My Heart belongs to Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice is not this long, but all I have is the bind-up. In the song and in Pride and Prejudice, Elizabeth has decided that she is best off alone, and then she says that all at once she falls for this guy, which I think fits Elizabeth. You could argue that obviously they had some sort of back and forth between Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy for the whole book. I don't think we really see her fall in love over a long period of time. I think we really do see like a moment of change for her, because no guy has ever met her level of like wit and brains before until she meets Mr. Darcy. It's just unfortunate that she happens to hate him and he happens to hate her. But when he steps in to save her family, basically, she realizes that he's a good guy and not a prejudiced person the way that she thought he was. And she realizes she has to get over her pride in order to be able to fall in love with him. And that is where we get the title, Pride and Prejudice. Dancing with Our Hands Tied is Queen of Air and Darkness. This is the third book of the Lady Midnight trilogy. The lyrics say that they are dancing with their hands tied, that there is nothing they could do to stop them falling in love, even though she really feels like it's a bad idea. And that fits this book perfectly. Our two main characters are Emma and Julian, and they are parabatai. That means that they are tied together as warriors, basically, and because there is, a magic system and powers in this book, that bond makes it so that them falling in love is not just a bad idea, it is a horrible idea, because the power of love can't be mixed with the power of a parabatai bond, or else they will go insane and become like consumed by power and probably hurt a lot of people on their way to exploding and dying, basically. I don't want to spoil the ending, but this one had me anxious. So anxious. For dress, I had The Great Gatsby. Now, I know that in another song, she actually mentions feeling Gatsby for that whole year, but I feel like dress fits it a little better. There's multiple times where the lyrics say, I only bought this dress for you, and that is exactly what Gatsby did. Obviously for him, it was suits and a house and a pool and a car. All the finery that he bought and all the parties that he threw were just to get Daisy's attention. And then the line, all this silence and patience, pining and desperately waiting, that really describes Gatsby at the end of his pier, looking across the lake at the green light. Only one more classic, I promise, but this is why we can't have nice things, is Hamlet. I will explain. Hamlet had the royal life, the parties, the fun finery, and this cushy royal life that he really didn't have to do all that much for because he was the prince, until the ghost of his father shows up and tells Hamlet that his uncle was actually the murderer. The song is mostly about drama, rumors, being stabbed in the back, which I think that all happens in Hamlet in every single character's storyline. Whether it is literal or metaphorical, Hamlet plays into the rumors of being crazy. He uses his words to betray and kind of backstab both his mom and his love interest Ophelia. Hamlet's best friends are sent in to talk to him as if his uncle hadn't been like talking right into their ear, telling them what to say. I feel like this song could just make such an amazing backtrack for like a modern version of Hamlet. Call It What You Want belongs to the royal we. I feel like the lyrics match up really well with this, not just like the royal connotation. My castle crumbled overnight, I brought a knife to a gunfight. They took the crown, but it's all right. All the liars are calling me one. And I feel like it matches really well because this is sort of a take on Kate Middleton and Prince Harry's love story, but is very loosely based. But the idea of call it what you want to, I think fits really well because obviously the media and all these people are speculating about what she and the prince are to each other. She's constantly in the news. There's all these rumors being spread about her, and she didn't get to control like the narrative of her own romance, which I feel like is really shown well in the lyrics of this song. For New Year's Day, I chose Iron Flame, and stick with me for a second because I know that this song does not sound at all like this book. The main storyline of the song is about cleaning up after a New Year's Eve party. It's a mess, a lot of mistakes were made, and these two made a lot of mistakes in this book, and they have a lot to clean up. But they did stay together during this book, even when things were messy, and I feel like in a lot of series we have like a mid-act breakup type of thing. And so while I'm glad they didn't break up, they definitely have a lot of stuff they need to sort out. Also, there's a lyric in the song that warns you not to read the last page of the book, which would have been really, really nice going into this book. Alright, so this is our playlist. I originally intended to pick this up, but I think that could result in injury. Oh my gosh. So heavy. Okay. I would love to know what books you would pick for each song or whichever songs that you have a better option for. Please let me know your picks in the comments. Please like this video if you liked it. Click subscribe if you want to talk about more book stuff. Also, thank you so much to the people who have subscribed. I woke up this morning and saw 1,000 followers, which I was very excited about. So thank you for being here. Bye!